Hi everybody, what's good, what's poppin'? I'm back with another video. Oh. I don't even know what that is, but apparently that's my new intro, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, as you may have seen, I got my nails done. Look how pretty they are. I haven't had them done in like over 6 months, and at this point I was ready to get them done. I didn't care what the cost was. I was ready to sell like a few, organs. Like you can take a kidney if you want, a liver, like by all, like a chunk of my liver, like take it by all means, like as long as my nails were done. But yeah, so ooh, if the camera could focus, I'm here. Anyway, so if you may have read from the title of the video below, it's my experiences as a black girl in Asia. So I'm not speaking on behalf of like the whole of Asia, because Lord knows I have not explored the entire Asia. I'm talking about the places that I've been to, and these include Malaysia, Indonesia, Bali to be precise, because Bali's got like Indonesia's got a lot of islands. So yeah, Bali. I've been to Bali, been to South Korea, and of course Singapore, as my previous videos have been focused on, because I used to live in Singapore. And one of the things that I noticed while being in these places was I got treated differently compared to like my companions that I was there with, because I'm different. I'm different. I'm different. What? I'm different. But yeah, because I'm black. And knowing these countries, like they don't have like a high level of like black populations in them. So obviously people don't bump into black people every day. And even I didn't bump into black people every day. Like whenever I see a black person in Korea and Singapore or in Malaysia or wherever, like I'll make sure to actively acknowledge them. Like I remember my first time when I went to Korea, like I saw this girl, she was from Florida, and I know her entire life story because like we both acknowledged each other. My cousin was there as well, and obviously she's black as well. So like I remember I was coming out of the station, and this girl was coming into the station, so we are going up the stairs, and I saw her and she saw me, and I was smiling because that's what English people do. When you see people, you just go and that was it. But this girl was not having it. Apparently she'd been in Korea for 3 weeks, and she's like, I'm by myself, I ain't seen no black people yet. And she was screaming, she's like, oh my gosh, it's another black person, oh my gosh girl, what's good, what's poppin', where you from, what you doing, blah, 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 blah. Like we were making a scene in this Korean train station. People were staring at us, but at this point I hadn't seen a black person in a few days. So I was just like very excited to see someone that looked like me. And like we had a very interesting conversation. She was like, yeah, I'm a bit lonely, but you just have to keep active, blah blah blah. And then that was like when I actually realized, because I used to watch like a lot of videos on YouTube, and people were saying, I'm being black in Korea, people are gonna stare at you, people are gonna gawk at you. And me being like a fuller black girl, I'm 5'5", and that's basically average in the UK, but in Korea, like that is tall as hell. Yeah, I was like a giant compared to like the locals. So like people would just stare at me, and I had like braids as well. I had like colored like braids. It was ombre, it was like purple, blue, pink, or whatever. And of course, I looked like a circus clown compared to what they're used to seeing. And people would just stare at me. And at first, I was just like really anxious, like, oh, am I proper? Am I prim? Do I look like Queen Elizabeth? Like, am I being oh? No, actually, it wasn't like that was my initial attitude at the start. But then towards the end of my first trip, because I was only there for like a week in Korea, like I kind of like got relaxed, and it was kind of weird how I managed to finally get relaxed in Korea, which was because we went to a jjimjilbang. And if anyone doesn't know what a jjimjilbang is like a public bathhouse. So I always wanted to go to a jjimjilbang. Like I knew of the idea of a jjimjilbang, and I wanted to go to a jjimjilbang. So like, let's go. I was like, let's go to a bathhouse. And I didn't really put two and two together, because when you're going to a bathhouse, it's kind of like you're going there to bath, and obviously when you're bathing, you don't wear clothes. So we went to bathhouse now, and they checked in. It was like really cheap. It was like Dragon Hill Spa. Big up to that place. I actually loved it. It was massive. They have like a little arcade in the bathhouse, and I'm just like, who arcades while bathing? But they call it saunas or whatever. But I actually enjoyed it. So like I went in, and they were like, here are your clothes to change into. Here's a towel. So I didn't really deep dive. I thought it was just like little showers, because like when you watch the dramas, they never really show jjimjilbangs. You just know of the idea of a ginger bong. You know where they sleep, you know where they crack the eggs and tie the little towel on it, and that's all I knew. But we actually got into the bath place, and like that was my first major culture shock in my entire time in Korea, where we walked into the ginger bong and you have like ladies of all ages, all shapes and sizes. I'm joking, there's only like two sizes, like skinny and super skinny, but there was like this other fuller girl, but that was another story. So yeah, like they're just out here walking and strutting butt naked, and I just saw them butt naked, and I was just like, whoa, 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 where did my eyes go? Where did I look? Like, where did my eyes go? And I was kind of like embarrassed, and I realized like you have to go into the bathhouse, you have to bathe, you have to take your clothes off. And I could have left, but I was like, nah, mama didn't raise no beach. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm here, I'm gonna do it. So I took my clothes off, and we had like two itty bitty towels, like slightly bigger than this tissue. And all I did was I had one covering my titties and the other one covering my lady bits, and I'm just like, and it was so, and I realize now I must have looked so weird because I'm the only person like trying to cover up. Meanwhile, everyone's just like, yeah, this is my body, yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna see me, what? But then I realized we're all women here, and we all have the same bits and bobs. And I was like, you know what, there's no point in being embarrassed of your body. And from then on, I actually felt comfortable in my own skin, in my own body, rolls and curls and all, curves and all. And I was like, yes. And we went into the sauna, like the actual steam sauna room. I could not breathe, I hate the heat, and we enjoyed it. Got into the cold, like they have like little jacuzzis and stuff, and it had jets, and it was like relaxing. Came out feeling like a brand new gal. I can't even express how like relieved and relaxed I was. And I actually did appreciate my body after that, because I was like, we're all around women, different shapes and sizes, different colors, and people did stare at me, don't get me wrong, because they were like, whoa. Whoa, you got some color in here. But after that I kind of felt comfortable. So after, when we were going out after that trip to the ginger bong, I felt so comfortable and so confident in my skin that when people were staring at me, I actually almost didn't realize that. And then flash forward to like the night that we were going to leave Korea. That's a whole story time on its own. I'll create another video for that another day. But yeah, so we were about to leave, and the day before we left Korea, there was this couple, like it was an older couple, and I saw them staring at me from like all the way down in the platform, because we were in the train station. Apparently most of my issues happen around trains. So like the husband comes down, I'm assuming it's the husband comes, looks at me, smiles, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm used to people staring at me, let's be friendly, let's give them something to gawk about. So as soon as the guy walks by, I was like, oh, annyeonghaseyo, and I smiled at the guy, and the guy was like, oh, yeah, and then he walked away. And the wife now, she was clearly taking the time, taking tiny steps to just stare even longer. And she walks past now, and she was like looking at me, and I was like, oh, annyeonghaseyo. And then she comes and she's like, oh, 예쁘다. She's pointing my braids, and she's like, it's really pretty. And I might put a picture of what my hair looks like in the video. So, but yeah, she's like, oh, it's really pretty, it's really pretty. And that's when the conversation happened. She was speaking pure Korean. I only know two words, 안녕 and 감사합니다. And she was like having a conversation by herself, because I didn't know what she was saying. And then she started touching my hair, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, it's a 22. I was so confused. I was like, what? She was touching my hair. She's like, it's so pretty. And it was kind of like weird, because usually I'm used to people staring at me. There was an occasion where someone blatantly took their phone up, took a picture, like click, and turned around. This was on the train. I told you, a lot of my experiences happened on the train. She was like, this guy was like, he was a younger guy, so I took a picture, like click, turned around and carried on with his day like nothing happened. And I heard the click as well, because in Korea, like everyone has their clicker sound on their camera. Apparently, I think it's to stop like, you know, secret recordings or whatever. Apparently people take a lot of pictures of you up skirts, but yes, he took a picture of me, just carried on with his day, and I'm just like, wow. But then this woman now, she broke all barriers and boundaries, and she became physical, and she started touching me up, and that was my first experience being touched in Korea. I was like, she was touching my hair, and I was like, wow, okay. But I was like, you know what, like let them do what they want, like, you know, it's curiosity and whatnot. They don't really, it's not anything bad. They're not trying to be like malicious or anything. So I was like, you know what, touch the braids. They're coming off as soon as I get back to London anyway. So she touched my hair and I was like, all right, cool. And that happened as well the entire night. People would call me out because I was in Itaewon, which is like the foreigner district in Korea, and people would fully like come up to me and touch my hair and be like, "You're so pretty," and I was like, "Carry on," because we like a bit of compliments, you know. I was like, "Stop it, carry on, though. Stop, carry on." But yeah, so that was like Korea, and there was another experience when I went my second time as well. Like this was fully weird. Like I was very weirded out, and I didn't get how, and it was weird how like this guy, he was like walking in the streets, and I realized because we were just coming from Busan, me and my friend Lindy, and we're going off the train, and we were we took a bus actually from Busan to London, and that was, I mean, from Busan to Seoul, and that was like a good 6 to 7 hour bus ride. And I was so tired, I was so exhausted, didn't have any internet or data because I was trying to be smart and just use like public Wi-Fi when I went that time. And I was like minding my business, and I was trying to find the train station. We just got off the coach trying to find the train station, and I realized like this guy's been following us because like there was a huge crowd of people coming past us, but we just let them go past. So I was like to my friend, I was like, Lindy, I think this guy wants to go past, let's get out the way. So we got out the way. Now this guy walks past us, and then he looks around and sees that we weren't behind him, so he stops. And then I carried on, and then we carried on walking after him, and we passed him again, and then he carries on following us, and I was like, yo, this guy is bugging, what's going on with him? Like, man, what's happening? And he was like, well, he just like stopped. So when we stopped, he followed. When we carried on walking, I was like, why is he following us? I was so weirded out by that. So I was like, you know what, Lindy, I'm struggling to follow the map because like I'm maply blind, if that's even a thing, and I didn't know where the train station was. And so I was like trying to figure out where we were and whatnot. My friend Lindy was just standing there, and I was just like really bugged out. I was like, I'm frustrated. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. And then next thing you know, like Lindy was wearing braids, and I just see her braids just fly up and fall down. And I'm just like, hold on, I know I ain't tripping because Lindy did not make any sudden movements, and she didn't make any sudden movements, and so why is her hair moving? So I was like, Lindy, you good? She's like, yeah. And then she was like pointing to like, I think that guy just touched my hair, and he did. And next thing you know, he's touching her forearm, like rubbing it, like touching it, and he was looking at his fingers, and I was like, what? But I was like, you know what, that's between Lindy and this guy. Like, as long as he don't touch me, I'm so annoyed right now. As long as he don't touch me, I'm fine. Like, whatever he does with Lindy, that's between them and their makeup. so like he's asking Lindy now for her cacao. Cacao's like Korean version of WhatsApp, and it's like a communication system. And he's like, have you got cacao? Lindy was like, no. Have you got Facebook? She's like, no. Have you got a phone number? Lindy's like, no. What even is a phone, kind of thing. And then like he realized Lindy wasn't budging, so my screwed ass face focus on my phone. He comes out to me now, and then all I just notice is he just runs his hands on my arm, like here on my arm, licks his finger. And I was like, don't touch me. And then he's like, sorry. It's like, have you got cacao? And I was like, what? It's like, have you got cacao? I was like, no. And then he was like, okay. And then he just walked away. And I was like, that was like the weirdest encounter. And he was actually touching me. And I was like, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Like, we don't do them things. Like, nah. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And it was quite common in Korea. People touch me. And I didn't like it. But that happened. But other than that, like my experience as being a black person in Korea is actually really good. Like a lot of times people would approach me, ask me questions. Some of them would offer me drinks. People ask to be friends with me. They will be very curious, like, oh, where you from? I'll be like, London. They're like, no, where you really from? Where you really from? And I'm just like, oh, you mean like motherland kind of from? I was like, oh, I'm from Africa. And it's like, Africa. I was like, yeah. And they'll be like, you want to come sit with us? You want to have a drink? I went to like an Afrobeats club in Korea. It's called Club Zion. This is not a promotion, but what up, Club Zion? I'm gonna see you next time I go there, because like it was really lit, and people will like buy us free stuff. They will talk to us, and I actually enjoyed that because I'm just like, we don't get this where I come from. Like, no one gives a shit what I do. Like, black people hate me where I come from because of my color, I'm skin. So I'm just like, I just like embraced it. I loved it, and I was like, let's go again. And yeah, but anyway, this is the end of this video. Tune in for the next video where I talk about like my experiences as a black girl in Singapore and Malaysia and Bali. I'm gonna still divide them because I feel like it's gonna be a long thing because I've been to like all these different countries and it's gonna be so long. But yeah, this was Korean. Korea wasn't that bad. Like a lot of the times, like I think it depends where you come from as well because I'm from the UK and apparently don't come at me, I don't know if this is true, but apparently people are more welcoming towards like other foreigners compared to like, you know, the US, because apparently Americans have like a really bad reputation in Korea, like they come up and like fuck shit up and people like, we don't want you anymore. But when it comes to like, I think that's mostly for like military and army guys, but I'm just like a everyday foreigner who comes to just, you know, throw ass in a circle. But it was really nice and I have never felt unwelcomed, and in fact like I actually feel so relaxed in Korea as a black person compared to like going different places. And it's one of those places where when I travel and people say, oh, how's Korea like, is it friendly towards black people, I'm just like, sis, go, like honestly, like you would have an amazing swell of time and you wouldn't worry about, you know, being targeted because of skin color. And yeah, anyway guys, stay tuned for my next video where I talk about my experiences being black in Singapore, Malaysia, or whatever. And please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and that is a wrap.